The silent vanguard. The stars hung like distant jewels against the endless void as Commander Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Horizon. Earth's expansion into the cosmos had been methodical and careful, with humanity establishing colonies on 27 worlds over the past 30 years, since the discovery of faster-than-light travel. This mission marked their first venture into the territory claimed by the Craldor hegemony, an ancient spacefaring civilization known primarily through intercepted communications and distant observations. All systems nominal. Commander, reported Lieutenant Sanjay Kapoor from the operations console. We're broadcasting the diplomatic greeting package on all frequencies as instructed. Reyes nodded, her dark eyes fixed on the main view screen. The diplomatic corps had spent years crafting the perfect message, one that conveyed respect while announcing humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. As a former tactical officer, Reyes had argued for a more cautious approach, but the United Earth government was adamant about peaceful first contact. Any response, Lieutenant Wei? She asked, glancing at the communications officer. Nothing yet, Commander, but wait. Wei's expression shifted suddenly. I'm detecting multiple energy signatures. They're powering weapons. Before Reyes could respond, the bridge erupted in alarms. 3 Craldor warships emerged from behind a nearby asteroid cluster, their angular hulls covered in what appeared to be crystalline weapon emplacements. Raise shields. Reyes ordered, but she knew the Horizon was an exploration vessel, not built for combat. The first blast hit them hard, knocking crew members to the floor. The lights flickered as the ship's systems struggled to compensate. They didn't even acknowledge our message, Wei said in disbelief. A face appeared on their view screen, humanoid but with gray-green skin, and 4 solid black eyes arranged symmetrically on a flat face. Bony ridges protruded from its skull in a crown-like formation. Primitive species, the Craldor commander said in perfect English, clearly processed through some translation system. Your existence has been noted by Supreme Overlord Vexkra. Your exploration ends here. Reyes stepped forward. We came in peace. We. Peace is irrelevant. The alien interrupted. The strong rule. The weak serve or perish. You will witness our power. Then your leaders will understand the natural order. The transmission terminated abruptly, and the Horizon rocked with another hit. They're not trying to destroy us, observed Kapoor. They're hurting us. Reyes realized with horror what was happening. They're pushing us toward New Eden. New Eden was Earth's newest colony, home to 15,000 civilians. The Horizon's damaged engines couldn't outrun the Craldor warships as they forced the vessel back toward the settlement. Get me emergency communications with the colony, Reyes ordered. Tell them to evacuate immediately. But it was already too late. As the Horizon was pushed into orbit above the planet, the Craldor ships unleashed a barrage of energy weapons toward the surface. The colony's minimal defensive shields collapsed in seconds. From space, they watched helplessly as the settlement was reduced to smoldering ruins. Why? Wei whispered, tears streaming down her face. They were civilians. The Craldor commander's face reappeared. A demonstration. Return to your homeworld with this message. The Craldor hegemony has designated your species as insignificant. You may exist on your worlds, but space belongs to the worthy. Trespass again, and your homeworld will share this fate. 2 Craldor vessels disappeared into faster-than-light travel while the third remained behind. It fired precisely at the Horizon, targeting life support and engines, but leaving the bridge intact. As the ship began to break apart, Reyes ordered the crew to the escape pods. Lieutenant Wei, take Pod 3. Someone must survive to warn Earth. Wei protested, but Reyes pushed her into the pod and launched it manually just before the bridge collapsed. 6 months after the New Eden massacre, Dr. Marcus Chen stood in a classified underground facility beneath the Mariana Trench, watching as engineers assembled prototype components for Project Nemesis. Will it work? Asked General Diana Harper, the newly appointed head of Earth's Defense Initiative. In theory, Chen replied, studying the complex energy patterns on his holographic display. The crowll shield technology operates on principles we've never seen before, but their attack gave us enough data to reverse engineer the basics. Chen gestured toward the massive chamber beyond the observation window, and their weapons revealed weaknesses in conventional FTL technology. We're not just catching up, we're leapfrogging their capabilities. Across the globe, similar facilities appeared in remote locations. The public remained unaware, told only that Earth was focusing on internal development after the unfortunate misunderstanding with the crowll. Every major nation contributed resources and personnel to the silent buildup. Former enemies became allies, united by the stark realization that humanity's survival was at stake. 3 years after the New Eden massacre, Colonel Natasha Ivanova, Earth's top intelligence operative, slipped aboard a trading vessel from one of the non-aligned alien species that occasionally visited Earth. Disguised as cargo, she infiltrated crowll space, establishing the first of many hidden observation posts on the hegemony's fringes. Her encrypted reports painted a troubling picture. The crowll weren't just conquerors, they were systematic oppressors who had subjugated dozens of species across their vast territory. They're expanding again, she reported. 3 more systems annexed last month. The conquered races are treated as little more than slaves. In the orbit of Neptune, hidden from both Earth and alien observation, the first shipyards took shape. Automated construction drones assembled massive vessels designed not for exploration but for war. General Harper inspected the flagship of the growing fleet, now designated Nemesis. Its sleek, black hull absorbed light rather than reflecting it. "How many can we build?" she asked the project director. "With the current resources, 75 capital ships and 300 support vessels within 6 years. If we accelerate production and bring the asteroid mining operations online sooner, perhaps more." Harper nodded slowly. "And the weapon systems?" Dr. Chen's team has exceeded expectations. The prototype cannons generate 10 times the energy of anything the crowll showed us, with better targeting and range. In a secure facility beneath the Antarctic ice shelf, hundreds of pilots trained in advanced simulators designed from Colonel Ivanova's intelligence. They learned to think like crowll commanders, to anticipate their tactics and exploit their weaknesses. Meanwhile, on the public stage, Earth continued to play the role of the humbled primitive species. Their few permitted interstellar vessels were outdated, their communications respectful to the point of subservience. Supreme Overlord Vexkra, receiving the annual report on Earth, barely glanced at it before dismissing his advisors. The humans had learned their lesson well. They posed no threat and warranted no further attention. 8 years had passed since the destruction of New Eden. On the anniversary, Earth observed a solemn day of remembrance, while deep within Neptune's shadow, General Harper, now Admiral Harper, addressed the officers of humanity's secret fleet. "Today we remember our dead," she said, her voice carrying through the command deck of the Nemesis. "Tomorrow, we ensure their sacrifice was not in vain." Commander Elena Reyes, one of only 3 survivors from the horizon, stood at attention among the gathered officers. The former exploration vessel commander had spent the last 8 years preparing for this moment, helping to design the tactical systems that would give humanity its one chance at survival. "Operation Daybreak begins at 600, Harper continued. "The crowll believe us broken. They will learn how wrong they are." Later, in the engine room, Dr. Chen ran final diagnostics on his creation. The slender physicist had revolutionized propulsion technology, but his greatest achievement was the device humming softly before him. "Will it work across their entire network?" Reyes asked, entering the chamber. Chen nodded. "Their communication and defense systems are standardized across their empire, a weakness we can exploit. When activated, this will create cascading failures throughout their relay stations. They'll be blind and mute for approximately 8 hours. 8 hours could be enough," Reyes said. "It has to be," Chen replied. At exactly 600 Earth time, 350 human warships emerged from their hidden bases. Using coordinates provided by Colonel Ivanova's spy network, they positioned themselves at strategic points along the edge of Craldor space. No human vessel had ventured this far in 8 years. On the Nemesis's bridge, Admiral Harper gave the order, "Activate blackout protocol." Throughout Craldor space, communication hubs suddenly failed. Emergency systems attempted to compensate, only to crash in turn as Chen's carefully crafted virus spread from node to node. "Silence confirmed," reported Lieutenant Kapoor, now serving as Nemesis's communications officer. "All Craldor channels have gone dark." Harper nodded to Reyes. "The Nemesis is yours, Commander. Lead the vanguard." Reyes took the captain's chair, her expression resolute. "Launch strike teams. Phase 1 is active." Across the border of Craldor territory, smaller stealth vessels detached from the main fleet. Colonel Ivanova led the first wave, her team targeting a monitoring station at the Empire's outer boundary. "Shields at maximum," she ordered as they approached. "Weapons hot." The Craldor station suddenly found itself under attack from a species they had dismissed as broken and primitive. As alarms blared and defenders scrambled, humanity's vengeance had begun. Reckoning. Admiral Zexthal stared at the blank communication screens in his command center on the Craldor capital world of Vexthelos. One moment, the Empire's vast network had been functioning perfectly. The next, total silence engulfed their systems. Emergency protocols had failed, redundant systems remained unresponsive, and reports were coming in through courier ships of simultaneous attacks along their border. "Impossible," he muttered, his 4 black eyes narrowing in concentration. "Check the primitive species monitoring stations. Report status immediately." An aide rushed forward with a data crystal. "Admiral, the human territories show no activity. Their registered vessels remain in their designated areas." Zexthal felt a chill run through his reinforced exoskeleton. 8 years ago, he had commanded the punitive mission against the humans, a standard procedure for dealing with new species that might one day become problematic. The humans had reacted as expected, retreating to their worlds, abandoning their expansion, offering tribute and submission. "Too perfect, too complete. Sound general alert," Zexthal ordered. "Prepare the home fleet for immediate deployment. We've been deceived." Commander Elena Reyes guided the Nemesis through the debris field that had once been the Craldor's primary defensive outpost in the Proxima sector. 20 other human vessels moved in precise formation behind her, their black hulls virtually invisible against the darkness of space. Only the occasional flash of their energy weapons betrayed their presence as they methodically eliminated any surviving Craldor ships. "Proxima Station neutralized," reported Lieutenant Commander Kapoor. "Minimal casualties on our side. Strike teams are retrieving intelligence data before we proceed." Reyes nodded, studying the tactical display. The first wave of attacks had been devastating in their precision. Colonel Ivanova's intelligence had proven accurate down to the smallest detail, allowing human forces to target critical infrastructure with surgical precision. "Status of the blackout protocol?" Reyes asked. "Dr. Chen reports 97% effectiveness," Kapoor replied. "We have approximately 6 hours remaining before their systems begin recovery." Reyes activated the fleet-wide communication channel. "All vessels, secure your objectives and prepare for Phase 2. We move on the Throne world in 90 minutes. Earth's strategy was elegantly simple: decapitate the Craldor leadership, demonstrate overwhelming force, and offer terms that would ensure humanity's future security in the galaxy. This was not a war of conquest or extermination. It was a calculated statement that humans would not be victims. The Nemesis led the fleet toward their next target, its revolutionary engines leaving no energy signature for enemy sensors to detect. Dr. Chen's greatest achievement had been reverse engineering Craldor technology, while simultaneously developing countermeasures and improvements. The human ships now possessed shields capable of withstanding the crystalline weapons that had so easily destroyed the horizon. "Commander," Kapoor called out, Incoming transmission from Admiral Harper. Harper's face appeared on the main view screen. Status report, Commander Reyes. Operation proceeding as planned, Admiral. The Craldor response has been disorganized and ineffective. No indication they anticipated our capability or numbers. Harper's expression remained serious. Our intelligence suggests Admiral Zexthal has taken command of their home fleet. He was the architect of the New Eden massacre. Reyes felt a cold determination settle in her chest. Then it's fitting that he witness what his actions have wrought. Agreed, Harper replied. Remember our objective, Commander. This isn't about revenge. It's about securing humanity's place among the stars. Understood, Admiral. Though I suspect the distinction means little to the 15,000 souls of New Eden. Harper's expression softened slightly. Just make sure you come back, Alina. Earth will need leaders like you for what comes after. The battle for Proxima Station had been merely the opening act. As human forces pushed deeper into Craldor territory, Admiral Zexthal marshaled his defenses around the throne world of Vexthelos. Without their communication network, Craldor ships were forced to operate independently, unable to coordinate their considerable firepower. In his command center, Zexthal reviewed the limited information available. The humans had somehow developed technology that rivaled or exceeded Craldor capabilities in just 8 years, an achievement that should have taken centuries. Supreme Overlord Vexcry demands an explanation, announced a royal messenger entering the command center. The palace defenses report unknown vessels approaching the inner system. Zexthal turned to his advisors. How did a primitive species hide this level of development? Our observers reported nothing. Strategic analyst Krelvor stepped forward. Admiral, I reviewed historical records from other species we've encountered. Humans may be the first to practice deliberate deception on this scale. They allowed us to believe they were broken while building their forces in secret. Zexthal's exoskeleton rattled, a sign of profound distress in his species. Mobilize everything we have. Protect the throne world at all costs. They've detected us, Kapoor announced as the Nemesis led the human fleet toward Vexthelos. Craldor defense grid is activating despite the blackout protocol. Reyes had anticipated this. Dr. Chen, time to deploy your second surprise. In the engineering section, Chen activated a device that had been years in development. Drawing on Colonel Ivanova's intelligence about Craldor technology, he had created a targeted electromagnetic pulse generator specifically calibrated to their systems. Pulse ready, Chen reported. Range is limited. We'll need to be within the inner defense perimeter. That's where we're headed, Reyes replied grimly. The human fleet accelerated, taking fire from the scattered Craldor defenders, but absorbing the impacts on their advanced shields. The Nemesis pushed ahead, drawing the bulk of enemy fire as the support vessels moved into position. Approaching optimal range, Kapoor announced. Craldor home fleet incoming, estimating 200 vessels. Reyes activated the ship-wide communication. All hands, prepare for close engagement. Remember New Eden. The battle erupted in full force as the two fleets collided. Human vessels, though outnumbered, demonstrated tactical superiority that shocked the Craldor commanders. Earth ships moved in precisely coordinated patterns, concentrating fire on key targets before moving to the next objective. We're within range, Chen reported from engineering. Initiating pulse now. A wave of invisible energy expanded from the Nemesis, washing over the Craldor vessels. Throughout their fleet, systems failed catastrophically. Weapon arrays went dark, engines sputtered and died, and life support systems defaulted to emergency protocols. Direct hit on their flagship, Kapoor reported. Admiral Zexthal's vessel is disabled. Reyes stood from her command chair. Prepare boarding teams. I want Zexthal alive. Admiral Zexthal watched in disbelief as human soldiers in advanced combat armor breached his command deck. His elite guards fell before their coordinated assault, their weapons barely damaging the humans' protective suits. The boarding party parted as a human female in a commander's uniform stepped forward. Something in her eyes made Zexthal's blood run cold. "Admiral Zexthal," Commander Rice said, her voice steady. "8 years ago, you destroyed an unarmed human colony to deliver a message. I'm here to respond." Zexthal straightened his posture, defiant even in defeat. "You have violated the natural order. The strong rule. The strong adapt," Rice interrupted. "The strong learn. The strong remember. You taught humanity a lesson, Admiral, just not the one you intended." Throughout the Craldor Empire, news of the defeat spread rapidly once communications were restored. The supposedly insignificant humans had systematically dismantled the hegemony's defenses and forced Supreme Overlord Vexcret to accept terms dictated by Earth. The treaty was straightforward. The Craldor would withdraw from recently conquered systems, establish a demilitarized zone between their territories and human space, and acknowledge humanity as an equal power in the galactic community. In return, Earth would not press further into Craldor territory or demand reparations beyond those needed for rebuilding New Eden. 1 year later, Commander Elena Rice, now Admiral Rice, stood on the observation deck of the new diplomatic station orbiting Earth. Representatives from a dozen alien species had gathered for the first Galactic Concord Summit, with humans serving as hosts and mediators. "Quite a change from 8 years ago," remarked Dr. Chen, joining her at the viewport. "The galaxy is still adjusting to the new reality," Rice replied. "Many species can't believe we managed to stand against the Craldor." "They underestimated human determination," Chen said, "and our capacity for strategic patience." Rice nodded, watching as a Craldor diplomatic vessel docked at the station. The new Craldor government, established after a brief civil war following their defeat, had sent representatives to negotiate trade agreements. "What happens now?" Chen asked. "We built all this." He gestured to the Earth fleet visible in the distance. "To survive. What do we do with our power now that we have it?" Rice considered the question carefully. "We remember New Eden. We remember what it feels like to be powerless, and we build something better than what came before." As the delegates gathered in the great chamber of the station, humanity took its place among the stars, not as conquerors or victims, but as architects of a new order. The shadow of dominion had passed, and in its place stood a species that had learned perhaps the most important lesson of all. True strength lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to know when not to. The stars shimmered against the vast darkness as humanity's journey continued, no longer alone, no longer afraid, but forever watchful.